Let's talk books. What's up, you all? Welcome back to my channel. Do you guys miss me? You better do. Here's another video you didn't ask for, but I'll be giving it to you anyway. Today, I'll be diving into one of my favorite things in the whole wide world, books. I'll be sharing some of my favorite reads and as well as recommendations you might love. Got a bit of everything, so whether you're into murder mystery, cozy reads, emotional roller coaster, self-help, or dark romance, I got you covered. There's something for you. So get comfy and let's talk books. By the way, before we start these book recommendations, I just want to put it out there that I'm not really good narrator because I fear I may not be doing some of these books justice. These are some of my favorite books and I would totally recommend it to any person. Enough yapping, let's get this video started. So the first book I'll be talking about is Daddy's Little Girl. This was actually my very first novel, very first book I read, so I can't give any recommendations without recommending this book. We have a little guest. Say hi to the camera. So as I was saying, this is a murder mystery novel, so it's basically about the girl who is trying to uncover the mystery behind the death of her sister. The girl's name is Ellie, and when she was just 7, her elder sister was murdered. There were 3 suspects, and Ellie actually helped to get one of them convicted, but the guy that was arrested just kept on insisting that she was innocent and he was being framed. Several years later, the guy that was arrested was about to be released and he still claims to be innocent, that he was wrongly convicted. Ellie, young grown up and determined to prove that she was right about the guy, decided to dig deeper into the investigation, but then she began to discover new evidence that makes her question what she believed. So the novel is basically about her trying to find out who exactly the murderer is. The question is the guy actually the murderer, or is the murderer actually out roaming about freely? Find out when you read the book. Personally, because this was my first read, it was kind of hard for me to get through it. I think because it was like a murder mystery novel. At some point I actually wanted to stop, skip through and just go to the ending, but I was like, I need to know, even though if I go to the end I'm going to know what happened, but I'm not going to know how it happened. So that was what I was just using to like, okay, you need to do it and you need to finish the book. And when I did, it was actually very worth it. So I would recommend it to any person that wants to read. But if you're the first time and you want to get into reading, I don't think you should start with this book first because it's kind of a slow burn. You may get easily discouraged. But if you're into modern mysteries and stuff like that, then this book is definitely for you. The very first book was what brought me to reading. I'm giving it a 4 out of 5 because it was a slow burn to me. Should I just give it a 5? It was actually my first book. I'll just give it a 5 because my first book you get, so it's a 5 and a total recommended. The next book I'll be talking about is actually a series. It's called the Addicted series. This book gave me insight on some things I did not know was actually possible. It made me understand a little bit more about addiction. So yes, it was a really good book. So this series has 4 books in total, and like I said earlier, it throws a lot of insight into addiction and how it can actually affect somebody's life. This book followed 2 people dealing with addiction while trying to navigate their complicated relationship. So the girl's name is Lily and the guy's name is Lou. They are both childhood friends and they are both addicts. One addicted to sex and the other addicted to alcohol. Instead of them to figure out how to help each other, they came up with a plan to feed into their addiction and decided to have a fake relationship as a cover-up for their destructive behavior. However, they started developing feelings for each other, but their addiction was getting out of control. Their family along the way caught up to what was happening and they had to choose between enabling each other or to fight to get better. What choice did you think they picked? Their family actually played a big and huge role. I didn't even know sex addiction was a thing until I read this book. How can you even get addicted to sex? Crazy, but yeah, it happened. When you figure out why they both turned out to become an addict, it's just kind of sad. Really good read. I totally recommend it to any person. 5 over 5. They actually have a series about her sister, that is Lily's sister. It's called the Calloway sister. So like I said earlier, the family played a big role in their story, so I think that's why they had to bring out the old stories for the sisters, and those were actually good. So I read every single one of them. Another good read. 5 over 5. Then lastly, they have the Lycos series. So the Lycos series is basically about the children from Lily and Lo and her sister, significant others. So they brought out the story about their children, the Lycos series. I think it's 14 in total, and I devoured every single one of them. So remember when I said sometimes I even dream about reading, talking about the Lycos series. That novel is mad. So we'll recommend those to you. I won't go into details about the Calloway sister and the Lycos series, but if you are reading the Addicted series, just read everything. The next book is One of Us is Lying. This is a murder mystery novel. So picture this: 5 students walked into detention, but only 4 came out alive because one of them ended up dying. And the crazy part, the person that died was actually planning on exposing the secret of the 4 other students in the room with him. This is not a spoiler, by the way. This actually happened at the beginning of the book, and the rest of the book is just trying to figure out what really happened and how he ended up dying. But here's the twist: like I said earlier, he was planning on exposing the secret of the 4 other students with him in detection. So he has this website where he released the secret of the student that goes to the school. He was actually planning on posting the secret of the 4 other students the next day. So that will give one of them motive to kill him, right? Maybe one of them actually found out that he was planning on exposing their secrets and they decided to unalive him or something like that. That was what we're thinking happened. But is that really what happened? Anyways, they got into investigating. By the end of the story, when you actually get to know what happened, you just... I was shocked. I can't really explain. By the way, the story is multi-perspective, so you get to hear 4 different sides from the 4 different students about what really happened there. This book is actually a TV show, so exciting, good read. Totally recommend it. A 5/5. When you find out what really happened, you're just speechless, because this is not something that you can actually predict. Your mind is not going to take you to that aspect. At the end of the day, everybody has a secret. What really matters is how far you go to make it be just that secret. The next book is One of Us is Next by the same author, and it's actually a sequel to One of Us is Lying. This book moved on to another group of students. So while Simon was an app, this one was actually a game, a truth or dare game. So basically, you get sent a text from an unknown number, and you have to choose between truth or dare. If you refuse to play, your secrets get exposed. But if you do decide to play, you have to choose a dare. So as the story goes, we just get to see how the dare began to escalate and become more daring and more life-threatening. It was kind of fun, by the way, but that's beside the point. I don't really want to go into details on this book because I would like for you to read the first book, but the rest of the book is just trying to figure out who is behind this game and what is the person trying to accomplish with all that. A really good read, and we'll recommend it. But first up, we have to read the One of Us is Lying before this. I'll give this a 4/5. I enjoyed the One of Us is Lying more than this. This was a good read too, but I prefer One of Us is Lying than One of Us is Next. If you love high school drama coming with a bit of mystery, this is your book. The next book is Sanctuary, another murder mystery novel. This book has a lot of suspense, romance, lots of family drama. It follows a girl trying to escape her past, but the past doesn't want her to escape. So the lady's name is Jo. She comes from a small island called Sanctuary, and after the sudden disappearance of her mother, she decided to move, and someone started sending her pictures, string pictures. She decided to go back to the island to just be with family and trying to regroup herself, trying to make point of what was happening and why the person was sending her pictures. She met Nathan when she got there, and there was a bit or a lot or an average of love, romance, and all those stuff. As she began to dig deeper, she realized that her mother's disappearance may actually not be a disappearance, and it may be linked to a deep and dark secret. Question is, what really happened to Jo's mother, and who keeps sending those pictures to her? So by the end of the story, when you figure out what was going on, you're just like, okay, I didn't see that coming. I think one interesting thing about murder mysteries is that there's always a plot twist that you're not going to think that this author is going to put there and just hit you, boom. And also, this is actually multi-perspective too, so it moves from Jo to her siblings to Nathan, and it also switches to the person sending those pictures. So we get to see what was happening, or we get to understand a little bit of what was happening before the characters in the novel caught up to. You kind of have an idea of what is happening, but at the same time you don't know what's happening. A really good read, totally going to recommend to you, a 5/5. I've read this novel more than 2 times. The next book is Redeeming Love. This book was actually inspired by the biblical story of Hosea. If you know the story of Hosea in the Bible, you basically know what this book is all about. This book pays strong attention to love, trauma, redemption, and faith. It follows Angel, who was sold into prostitution at a very, very young age. And I've grown up believing that she's unworthy of love, and I've lost every single faith she has in God. Then there is Michael. Michael is B, by the way, a kind and faithful man, and has a strong belief in the Lord. So imagine you're just walking out one day and going about your day. Then you see this person, this lady or man that stood out to you, you're just immediately drawn to the person, only for you to be told that the person is a prostitute. And not only that, God now tells you that that person is going to be your significant other, that you're going to get married to the person. Just make it make sense. What are you going to do? If the situation was weird for him, it was even more weird for her, because just imagine someone that was sold into prostitution. She's obviously not going to have a good relationship with men. As the story progresses, you just kind of see how her faith and her relationship grew with God, and it's just really amazing. A really good read, 5/5. I've read this novel so many times. I know I'm not doing justice to this novel, so please just read it. I will recommend this novel to any person. And it's a biblical story, so it's kind of related to Bible stuff. So if you're into anything biblical novel or stuff like that, then this book is totally for you. So yes, a 5/5 for me. The next 3 books I'll be talking about are actually from the same author, Coho. I've read so many of her books, but I'll actually be talking about 3. The first one is Verity. This is a thriller novel. And guys, when I say that this book was insanely heavy on the insanely, if you're looking for plot twists, just read Coho books, Coho novels. She gave the best plot twist. I was hooked from the beginning of this book to the end. If you've not even read any of the books I've recommended, just read this book. This book follows a struggling author, but all of a sudden she got this opportunity to finish a series of another author, Verity. She got involved in an accident, so she wasn't able to finish the series she's working on. That was why Lorraine was hired. So she's invited to the house that Verity lives with her family, and she has to stay there for the period of time that she will use to work on the novel. So we read about Lorraine going through Verity's research to get all the information that she would use to finish the series. But then she found something very shocking and unexpected, which you guys will know and see when you read the book, so please do. Then we get to figure out what's wrong with Verity and how she got into the accident. It's just a lot. I don't even know how to put into words what was going on in this book, because a lot was happening. And the funny thing is that when you think you actually get into the part that you understand what's going on, then boom, plot twist, and you're just confused all over again. All the things you read and all the things you actually thought you knew about the book just get replaced totally by just that one plot twist. It's insane, really mad. So yes, a really good book, totally recommend. 5/5, read it. This book is All Your Perfect, also by Coho, an emotional romance novel. It explores love, marriage, and the struggle of maintaining a relationship. The book follows these couples. The novel alternates between the present and the past timelines. First chapter, you get to see how they met and how they began to fall in love with each other. In the next chapter, they are almost getting divorced, and you're like, what just happened? Just read you guys being all cuddly and romantic and shit, and now you guys actually can't stand each other and you want to get divorced. When you figure out why their marriage was not working as well and why things were not going as it was before, you just sad, because I think this is what's happening in some people's marriage. The 5/5. The last Coho book in this video is November 9, another interesting and really good read. It follows this one girl and guy, Ben and Fallon. They only meet one day of the year, November 9. So throughout the book, you just get to understand why they meet only in that particular day every year. And by the way, they don't have any connection, so no connection. They don't follow each other on socials, so they just meet in a specific place every year. It's crazy because one part of the book is the first November 9, and after that day, it moves to November 9 of the next year. A whole year pass. without communication. When they do meet though, you get to see the connection, the chemistry between the both of them. But because of his goal, you have to expect a plot twist. Another good read, totally going to recommend, the 5/5. The next 3 books I'll be talking about did a number on me. Like, I can't really get over the books. They really did me dirty, but I actually loved them. So the first book is They Both Die at the End, and I indeed share a few tears or more while reading this book. So basically, in this world or in this society, they have something called dead cast, and the workers are dead cast. You call the person that is about to die and say this: I regret to inform you that sometime in the next 24 hours you'll be meeting an untimely death, and while there isn't anything we can do to suspend that, you still have a chance to live. On behalf of everyone here at Deadcast, we are so sorry to lose you. Live this day to the fullest. Yeah, that happened. Just imagine getting a call and the person just tells you something like that you're about to die in the next 24 hours. Hey God, I mean, I've not seen the video. In this book, it follows 2 guys who got the call, the same day letting them know that they're about to die. And there is this website which is called Last Friends, where they get to match with your very last friend before you die. So somehow they found each other and just tried to live the day to the fullest. At the end, he explains everything, and you get to see how all the characters that was introduced in the book were kind of interconnected or linked to each other, and you're just like shocked because you didn't see that coming. The question is, did they really both die at the end? I won't be rating this book yet until I talk about the other 2 books, so you understand why by the end. Next book I'll be talking about is All the Bright Places. Oh God. So this book explores heartbreak, mental health, love and loss. I was not okay after I read this book. I cannot even describe the emotion I went through. It follows 2 teenagers, Finch and Violet, who form a deep connection while struggling with their own personal pain. They were partnered for this school project, and they were able to go through all these adventures in their town. You see how their connection built between the both of them. I mentioned earlier they were at dark places in their life, so you can clearly see things going well. Then something happened and you're like, what did I miss along the way? What was really happening? Then you get to realize that what was going on was just the surface and not the main thing. So you guys, be kind to people out there. It goes a long way. The face hides a lot of things, and indeed in this case, I was full on sobbing reading this book. It was so bad that sometimes I just stay and I just remember it and I just start crying. It's not why I related to this book in a way, why it was hard for me. Funny enough, I was arranging my room yesterday and I saw this stuff. You can clearly see I wrote Finch, and I actually wrote something, so let me read it out for you. Have you ever wondered what goes through a person's mind? Have you ever experienced being so down that you can't take it anymore? And I wrote Finch. This book was very emotional for me, so I don't want to start crying, so I'm just going to stop here. A good book, would totally recommend you to read. Just in case you're an emotional person, just ready to cry sharp because it's a good book. The next book is 1,000 Boys Kisses. You guys, I was going through it at this point because, funny enough, I actually read this book according to how I listed it. I read They Both Die at the End, All the Bright Places, then 1,000 Boy Kisses. So I read it according. I was going through an emotional roller coaster because I did not expect these books are actually going to make me get emotional. This book is the full meaning of don't judge a book by its cover. A really good book, heartbreaking, sweet, cute. I cried. It was not even funny at this point, honestly. So it followed 2 childhood friends. When they were 5 years old, we really moved into the neighborhood that Poppy was staying, and by 8 they already had their first kiss. Good for them. They immediately became best friends, doing everything together. I won't tell you who, but someone very important to Poppy gave her the jar with the paper heart, and she was told to fill it up with all the special kisses that she would get throughout her life. So years later, her and Ren eventually started dating, but then Ren has to go back to his hometown because of his father's war, and it's kind of sad because I began to see them falling in love with each other, and all of a sudden they just have to split. So they decided to try the long distance relationship stuff, but then Poppy just cut off. All of a sudden she just cut off all communication, no message, no calls, whatnot. She just stopped talking 2 years pass, then Riri returns back and we get to see what really happened that made her to have to cut off communication between the both of them, which is actually kind of sad. Just be ready for a roller coaster of emotion because I was really going through it, and I think it was because I read those 3 books like accordingly. That's why I was so emotional during those reads. So overall, really good books, but because of the emotional roller coaster they put me through, I'll be giving them a 4/5. Yes, I'm that petty. So it's a good book. I recommend it to any person, but personally, because of what they made me go through, I'm giving it 4/5. So yes, so we are actually diving into the dark romance territory. Before I start though, I'm just going to give you guys a little advice. If you're reading any dark romance books, there are always like triggers and warning before you start the book. So my advice for you is to go through them to know what could be your trigger and what like you may not be really into. The first book I'll be talking about is a series, The Edge of Darkness trilogy. So this series follows the journey of Stacy and Kate. They first met when they were 15. By the way, the story switches between the past and the present timeline. Present, you see event of things that happen after their breakup, while in the past you get to see the event of when they were still dating. Stacy and Kate in the past was actually very cute. They were so romantic and their love was very nice. Then you go to the present and everything is just so fucked up and you're wondering what happened. Everything is just a mess. How did he just get so bad? Then you go back to the past again and everything is alright and you get to see and feel their love. In the past, we see the young version of Kate who grew up never understanding feeling and emotion until he meets Stacy and she teaches him how to feel. They have a lot where they can't exist between each other, but in the present there's just a lot of things that is keeping them apart. The both of them experience a lot of abuse, both mental, physical, sexual. So there was a lot going on in this book. Did I mention that he's obsessive and possessive, and every guy that Stacy ever was with in the present just mysteriously disappears? Yeah. So what's really happening? What are these obstacles that is keeping them apart? There was actually a lot going on in this novel. I can't really go through it because I don't want to talk much in this book and I'm a bad narrator. So, but this book is interesting. I would recommend that you read it. I would say though there are a lot of spicy scenes in this book. Like a lot was going on, and I love the fact that even though there were a lot of spicy scenes in this book, there was actually a really good plot line. To 5/5. We totally recommend. The next book we're talking about is also a series, the Lord series. So there are 6 books in this series, and though they can be read as a standalone, I think it's more preferable if you get to read everything. Please go through the warnings if you want to start this book. The series is actually a really good series. I've read every single one of them. I devoured this book. If you think The Edge of Darkness was bad, you've not met the Lord series. This is a dark romance that dives into power, secrecy, and complex relationship. Like I said, it can be read as a standalone, but their characters are kind of interconnected to each other, so it will be best if you read all the series. Basically, there's a secret society called the Lords. They have a school where they go to and the boys are trained, they get tested and are given the same mission to do to see if they can actually pull it off, and they have to be celebrated until their 4th year, where they are given a girl, any girl of their choice, called the chosen. The men are called the Lords and the ladies are called the chosen. You get to see what it means to be a Lord, the things you have to do, what it entails. Being a Lord also comes with a lot of privilege and as well disadvantages, because if you misbehave, you get taken to the Carnage, and I think that's the 3rd book in the series. So the Carnage is a place that they take the Lords that misbehave to. So you just get to see the things that are done to the Lords that misbehave and nasty stuff. That's why I keep saying you should go through the warnings. There are a lot of nasty scenes. I'm not talking about spicy scenes when I said nasty, like blood and all those kinds. So you have to go through the warnings before you read. You just get to see each characters and how they treat their chosen. There are also a lot of spicy scenes, and when I say spicy, I mean spicy scenes. So yes, a really good read. Totally going to recommend the 5/5. Like I said with the other book, even though there are a lot of spicy scenes, the storyline is actually many interesting. 5/5 would totally recommend. We need a little cleanse after those books, so and that's okay because the next book focuses on that. Law of Attraction, very popular book, and I know that you may have heard about it in passing several times, but do you really know what the book is all about? The book throws a lot of insight into attraction, manifestation, affirmation, frequency, and even gratitude. So it technically teaches us how doing those things or not doing them at all can affect your life, way of thinking, and how you view things. It's a self-help book that teaches and explains to us how to attract what you want. So if you're really planning on improving yourself, I'll totally recommend that you read the book. You're actually going to get something from it. It changes the way you view things. If you want to get into reading the book, I suggest you have a jotter or a book. This is mine and I've been taking pages of it. There are just a lot of things you can get from it, so it's good if you have something that, so anything that sticks out to you, you can just write it. There are also practical exercises that you can engage in, so I'll recommend that you do those too because those are also helpful. So this is a good book, a 5/5. If you really want to improve in your self-growth, this is the book for you. So yeah, these are some of my favorite reads and I hope you find one that sticks out to you. So this is actually the next day. I wasn't able to finish filming yesterday, so I'm doing it now. So let's just get back to it. Those are all the books I've been talking about. Wait, okay, hold on. I actually have one more book I want to talk about, and personally I think it's one of the most important books out there that everybody should actually try to read and understand. I'm talking about the Bible. If one of your goals for 2025 is actually to improve in your faith and to get to know the Lord more and to trust Him and be closer to Him, and you don't know where to start from, you're stuck and whatnot, you keep on reading the Bible but you don't understand what's going on, so I would suggest the YouVersion Bible app. Has so much to offer and there are a lot of things that you can actually get from it. I'm not an expert or anything, and I just feel that if you're trying to improve in your faith and you're trying to know God or trust God more, this is something that you need to learn how to do, and you learn to learn how to study your Bible, because most of us are no longer staying with parents. At the point in our life where we have to be the ones to actually take that step to do it by ourselves. So I'm just going to give you guys a little tour of the app.
This is Chelsea Plank with SU.
So yeah, hopefully you get to download the app and go through it to know more about it and know about God by yourself. So yes, that will be all for this video. These are all the books I'm going to be recommending. If you do want any more recommendations, you can just let me know in the comment section and I'll make another video about other book recommendations for you guys. I do hope you found something you loved among the book I mentioned. So let's do a little question of the day. What book did you find interesting or captivating? Yeah, that will be all. If you stay to the end of this video, comment down below the book emoji. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure to like and comment, subscribe to my channel and turn on all post notifications. I will see you guys soon. Happy reading, and remember, stay grateful. Bye bye.
Oh, hi. Hello family members and welcome back to my channel. It's me Agukat once again, and first of all, don't forget to subscribe my channel and like, comment, share, and please don't skip my video, only watch till the end. So guys, first of all, wishing you a very happy Sunday.